You're on the,
Yeah, Richard Bennett, I'm on Zoom, I'm here.
great.
And Pat Gerard's here.
And Commissioner Long is returning soon.
Wandering around.
And that's our 2021 Executive Committee. Thank you.
Okay, great. Do we have any public comment this morning?
There is no public comment. Anybody has called in, and there have been no written public comments, and I'll just have Clarissa confirm that there has been no activity since the meeting started. Clarissa, can you confirm?
We have not received any public comment.
Okay, great. Well, our only action item is to approve the minutes from November 13th.
I'd
So
like to
I'll
make a
move
motion
that
to
the
approve.
November 13th meeting minutes be approved.
Second?
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Brad, orientation to PSTA.
Yes, if you just give me a quick second here, I gotta get out of the legislative committee meeting and get into this meeting.
Try to keep up, Brad.
Yeah,
know.
Brad, keep up.
Vu, I need your help. It's crashing or something here.
Oh, I'm gonna send an invite to Brad right now.
Can you
just in
send me
case.
one, Julie,
Did
please?
I crash?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought I had it all right up here, but I can't.
Well, you don't need a Zoom invite because we're all here.
Right, but I need the agenda.
Oh, that would be in Granicus.
Yeah, Granicus.
Okay, I think I might have an agenda. Let me see if I have an
Wait.
agenda.
If I can just find my, oh, here we go.
I have an agenda.
Okay, so I'm gonna cancel that invite and look for an agenda for you.
Chair Gerard, if we want to, while Vu is helping me get my computer going again, if we want to skip down to talk just a little bit about the Board of Directors meeting on January 27th, would that be okay?
Okay, you go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. So, Happy New Year, everyone. We
Happy New Year.
are starting off 2021 with a bang. We've got a lot we're working on. We've got the Executive Committee and Legislative Committee we just completed. Next Wednesday is the Personnel Committee, and that is just, we don't have any action at that Personnel Committee, but that'll be a discussion about a year ago, the PSDA board asked for the Personnel Committee to come up with a new evaluation process for the CEO, but what we're gonna present to you is a sort of a revamp of the performance evaluation process for all PSDA employees, to be consistent. That's next week. Then the following week is the Finance Committee and the Planning Committee, which always meet the week before the board meeting. Okay, thank you. The main item on this month's,
Vote.
the main item on this
I
month's
don't
agenda
see-
is
I don't
the
see.
PSDA sustainability plan. You might all recall that last summer, you approved us funding to hire a consultant to develop a sustainability plan for the organization, and there's been a lot of great work done over the last 6 months in putting what I think is a really impressive plan together. It's surprisingly not green. I mean, it's very green. It's very, a sustainability plan for PSDA is chock full of initiatives related to environmental sustainability, certainly. But it's surprisingly, a lot of other things as well. Everything from financial sustainability to workforce development and human resources stuff on making sure we have a complete, a sustainable organization, no matter how you look at it, from how we develop our people, to maintaining our finances, et cetera, to the way our services run in the county, that they serve everybody in the community. So I'm really excited about it. We are planning on celebrating the adoption of the sustainability plan, which we really think will take the format of PSTA's new strategic plan with a event. I think we're targeting the Friday after the board meeting, back here at PSTA, sort of a photo op with now our growing electric bus fleet, which has recently tripled in size from 2 to 6. We now have at PSTA, and we will show off those beauties that we received over the December with an event there.
Hey, Brad,
Yeah.
can I just say something about that?
Yes.
We have a Forward Pinellas board workshop on that morning,
Okay. Good news.
so I just found that out yesterday.
I don't know if Whitney is still with us. I don't think she is with us. Maybe I have the date wrong on when that electric bus thing is going to be. But it's,
Well, that's what you told me yesterday.
yeah. Maybe I don't have it on my calendar, so stay tuned on that, when that will be. But we're planning on celebrating the sustainability plan and electric buses. We're working actually to maybe have a letter written to the Tampa Bay Times op-ed about sustainability for transportation at the same time. So I think it's pretty exciting.
Brad,
Yes, hi.
I have, if it's the electric fleet event, I'm holding space for it on January 29th.
Oh,
So Whitney or someone from the team had advised me to just hold it for now.
okay.
I don't
At
have-
10 o'clock on January 29th.
No, I just
So-
have the Forward Pinellas Board workshop.
But yeah, there's a workshop you're saying, Chair Gerard, at that
Yeah.
time?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably all morning.
Yeah, from 9 till noon.
Yeah.
Okay. So stay tuned, we might be revising that.
All right, thank you.
You said January 29th?
Yes, that's the Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's essentially the main item on the January meeting. The other item, which now I can share my screen, which I'm excited to have some of our executive committees help me participate. At the beginning of the meeting, you'll see the very first agenda item, presentation 3A, is welcome new board members. It's exciting that PSTA will start 2021 with 5 brand new board members. And if you think back to Jamie Robinson, who is here with us listening this morning, and Jeff Gow, who has only been to 1 meeting, we actually have 7 PSTA board meetings. Basically, half the PSTA board is brand new in the last year, and it since the pandemic, hasn't really seen us without our masks and things. And so we thought that it would be helpful, and lots of them have suggested this would be helpful to them, to kind of give a very brief sort of just orientation to being a board member on PSTA, to how you could really benefit from that, and including getting some comments from existing board members. I don't know why I'm trying to share my screen, but it's not showing the, I can't seem to get the PowerPoint up. Oh, there it is. It showed up. Okay. So here's sort of the rough draft as to what we're thinking of presenting as the Welcome to PSDA kind of event. Kicking it off with Chair Gerard, making a few comments. She is actually a rider herself, rides the bus quite often, and kind of emphasizing how important it is to always keep the focus. We always try to keep the focus that we're trying to just make the service better for our customers. As you know, during non-COVID times, we sometimes have lots of riders in the room coming to the podium and making comments. And we think we're doing everything we can. I thought maybe making a few comments about during COVID, how we have lots of new policies on the buses with wearing masks, et cetera, and that's worked. And then all of the work that we've done on not just being about buses, but being about mobility. Then I would take back over the presentation and just kind of mention, we have two new board members, Commissioner Kathleen Peters and Commissioner Renee Flowers, that were previously on PSDA more than a decade ago when they were city council folks or mayors. And this is sort of the section of the presentation where you say, well, this is maybe not the PSDA that you remember. That maybe we're a little bit different. And then I've got Al and Debbie teed up to talk a little bit about, especially Al's going to talk about all the things he does in procurement that are so focused on sort of a data-driven, to be saving money. I put a little bullet on here. He said he's highly motivated. I said only second to Commissioner Saraffi. He's excited about that. As innovation goes, that's our reputation. From autonomous vehicles, being open to new partnerships like the ferry operation that Commissioner Long connected me to a year ago, and then now that's hopefully going to pay dividends in the future. And then trying to be engaged, be engaged in our community much more than I think PSDA was in the past.
Brad,
Yes,
who's chairing this meeting? Are you?
Chair Gerard.
Oh, Pat, I'm so sorry. You're not here, it's hard.
That's okay, it's hard to do it when you're not there.
I know, I'm so sorry. Is it all right if I ask a question?
Of course.
So I was curious about whether or not, because I don't have it on my iPad, do you have a copy of that presentation that you can forward to us?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Because I don't have it, and the thing that leads a couple of slides ago, it kind of was missing, and it leapt off the page of me that it wasn't there, was board responsibilities. Because from the time I first came on PSTA until now, I know that the way in which we operate is totally different. And a lot of the new iterations of how we do things today is a result of what we learned from the failure of Greenlight, I think. But I've sat on this board for a long time now, and it infuriates me. And for the whole entire time they are here, I can think of a couple of members actually, they never asked a question, they never had a comment.
Yeah.
Unless they were put on the spot and asked for their thoughts about a particular thing. And, that is irresponsible. If you don't want to participate or learn about what we're all about, and you cannot buy into the mission of why we're here, I don't think you should be on this board, or any board.
Yeah, well, and sort of the goal of this presentation, and this will be pretty brief, but the goal, we're just trying to think more and more how we can best orient new members, because it can be, very sort of intimidating, or
It is.
just, it's a new experience being on a board of 15, coming from a city, or wherever. So, yeah, I mean, I would like you to make some comments like you just made from your experience and perspective. I have you,
Well, because there's
coming
so
up.
many moving parts, and especially when you get into the policy or the legislative issues, or you're trying to understand the different funding opportunities, there are a gazillion of them
yeah.
if you take the time to learn the process. But the other thing I think I would like, I don't know which committee, but I do think there's a disconnect between the desires of some of the folks in higher office to get stuff done and the knowledge of what it takes to get in the pipeline. Because I found that shocking, that if you have a project that you want to bring to fruition, the length of time that it takes to work through that federal process is, I mean, it is a master's degree all in itself, just
Or
trying to
someone
figure.
like you who's been serving on this board for so long.
For a long, long
You've
time.
actually been able to achieve things, but only because you were so incredibly persistent. And
That and the fact that I also, at some point, got on Forward Pinellas, which plays a big part in learning about how the different funding parts operate and where that money comes from and what you have to do to line up for it. And unless you understand that, it's really hard to be a good advocate.
Yeah.
Don't you, I mean, Brad, you've been doing this a whole lifetime.
Oh,
don't you
yes,
agree?
I mean,
So the point is, and this is why I was so sorry I was so late for the legislative committee, we've got to focus more on policy changes and the way in which transportation projects are funded, because you know how we started going down that rabbit hole about opening up the CIS funds and giving us more opportunities to get that money? The secretary said, be careful what you ask for, because if you get it and you don't have a project that's shovel-ready and ready to go, that money's gonna automatically be shifted to another part of the state where you will be able to use it. And so that's why we gotta really
Yeah.
have active board members that are gonna be able to latch on to a project and stick with it till we get it done. That's a long-winded comment, but thank you, Chair Gerard, for letting me wax on.
well, and so one idea, I put this slide together, and again, I'll send all of the committee members this PowerPoint, but this is a draft PowerPoint that'll
Right.
be, Whitney's already gussing it up quite a bit to make it look much nicer. So this is sort of I would describe it as an outline to the presentation, but just thinking about kind of what you said, like how to get engaged, how can a board member get more engaged? It's certainly coming to these meetings that are in this room, but that is sort of it's very difficult. It's very difficult to really get your head around what's going on and everything if you just come to the meeting once a month. So being on the different committees certainly helps, but getting more engaged in the community events, the ribbon cuttings, we try to have, my goal is to have a ribbon cutting every single month of some kind. Marketing, Whitney's not totally with me on that, but I'm working on her. And then especially on the legislative, that is a key component to the, what board members can really add. Coming with me to DC or to Tallahassee or even locally, to meet with the state representatives and senators is so beneficial to the organization, because they know the board members, they know you, and it really helps in so many ways. And I think that, I think you all can speak to whether that's aided in your understanding of sort of transportation, policy and how that all works but I think those are other things beyond just coming to the meeting once a month.
But talk about the experience of going to, for example, Indianapolis, where we learned, that was the first opportunity, I think Commissioner Gerard would agree, that we ever had to learn about the scooters and
Yeah.
what that could do. That's, kind of how it ended up in St. Pete. I mean, it's just amazing when you see and you hear how another community managed to get something like that done amidst great opposition in the beginning. But, that's how new stuff happens, right?
Right. Now, and I don't know why my thing is not. I had right now, but we can change this. You, Commissioner Long, sort of finishing the presentation off, talking about something I've heard you say many times about it works better when we're working with partnerships and working together, and also about how important relationships are. So, and that's how, that would be a perspective that you would bring, that being involved, like you just said, with Ford Pinellas and T-BARTA even, getting the updates from T-BARTA, and then learning more through APTA and the Florida Public Transit. It's so much better when board members and we're all engaged with those other partners. That benefits us back here.
It also is what got us the money from the feds.
Yeah, and I think you can very effectively bring that message forward, hopefully.
I'll try.
So we would try to do that at the very beginning of the meeting, just because we'll have basically about half the PSTA board is either completely new or relatively new at the January meeting, and hopefully we'll really get some good engagement. We have made some committee appointments, but we have a lot of vacancies, and a lot of, Rachel sent out a survey of all the different openings we have, and we've gotten a lot of interest. And I think I have one-on-ones with all of the new board members coming up this week and next week, so I think we'll get, hopefully, more engagement than we maybe have done in the past. That's my goal. So with that, Chair
I have a
Gerard.
couple of questions, if,
Yeah.
Please.
Chair Gerard, is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. I understand this is a draft, and I appreciate you sharing this with us, Brad, so that we can see how it's coming along. I really like the general idea and where you're going with this. Just a couple of notes. I think in the engagement part of it, you had a photo of the groundbreaking for BRT that we did at the Trop site.
Yeah.
Maybe you can ask Whitney if she can add one or two of the great photos that you have of your partnership with Feeding Tampa Bay, where you've helped out with the food distribution. I think that's incredible. And then, if you have something with like the trolleys as well, because those are partnership, like in St. Pete, that's operated in partnership with the Downtown Partnership, and that's a very nice relationship that you have that serves a really great purpose in St. Petersburg. So that's an example of something. It's really more than just ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings, okay?
Yeah.
We're actually there rolling up our sleeves doing the work, alongside your staff in many cases. So really that community engagement, I think you have some excellent ways to illustrate that, to give new people a feel for what we're really all about, and that is the whole community.
Yep.
That's a great idea. I love where she's going with that. Because you left out Ava, our newest resident in downtown
Yeah.
St. Pete.
Yeah.
Yep.
As well as the new partnerships with the different ferry services. And
Yeah.
how about adding some stuff from the rodeo, the bus rodeo? I mean, that's exciting and
Yeah.
fun.
And these are things that you often invite us to be part of, and, I mean, that's really one of the things that makes me so proud to serve on PSTA, on the board, is that it's not just about buses anymore. It's really about PSTA as part of, a regional quality of life solution in so many ways. We
Oh,
just
yeah.
do a lot more than move people from point A to point B. But we're, at this point, we're helping to feed people and we're helping to foster great innovation throughout Pinellas County. So show us that. Show us that. The other thing I wanted to mention was, I know,
Oh, yeah.
something that was really helpful to me in the beginning was being able to meet individually with you, and also, conversations that I've had with Cassandra, with Whitney, with other members of the team, like your leadership team. That is extremely helpful. It's important for board members to understand some of the inner workings and who does what and why, so that when they come forward with asks for funding, for allocations for this or that for their department, or they show us what they've been spending money on, there's a deeper understanding of that. And I think that could help engage people a lot more
Yeah,
if they
I-
know something beyond the dais. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the benefits of the trip, of going to Tallahassee or DC or whatever. You get to know some of the other key
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Okay, and finally, I would just like to remind everyone that with so many new board members, those of us who have been on for a couple of years or more, really have a responsibility to set the example and to be engaged at a level that we show everyone that this is how we do it. This is what a board member does. So it's a cultural thing that I think we have no problem with conveying that because of what we all already do. But keeping that in mind, I think, is important. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to add to that. I think it's important to make a comment about how board members interact with staff aside from Brad. Because, every organization has its ways, but almost every kind of governmental-based organization has some kind of guidelines around, asking questions, but not directing staff and that sort of thing. So, I think the interaction with staff is great, and it especially is helpful to go on those trips and hear what they do and, what they're working on and all that. But make sure we set the guidelines for how we interact with you and the rest of the staff.
Yeah.
So, Madam
That's a
Chair?
good point.
Yes.
So maybe it would be very wise for those of us that have been here for a while. Remember what Jane Williams used to always talk about when she would give presentations? That we're not just a bus transit agency anymore.
Right.
We're really mobility innovators. And I loved that. I remember when she said mobility innovation. What is that? And I wrote it down and I spent so much time trying to figure out what that really meant. But now I know what it means, and it's exciting because it's all about the future.
Yeah. No doubt. These are all great, fantastic ideas. Hopefully we can, that's why lots of folks are helping me with the presentation to put it together, to try to and develop some of these ideas more, recognizing, we probably want to try to keep the entire thing to like 10 minutes max.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've had a lot of the similar ideas that you've, just outlined in the, already in some of the earlier drafts. You know, and if I let.
Are you saying that this is the board orientation and you want to keep it to 10 minutes?
This is not, I would not describe this as a board orientation. I have one-on-ones with each of the new board members that I would provide more orientation, just.
So it's a welcome.
This is more of a welcome, and really the thought was, how have you, as, board members that have been here, how have you, and how do we think the ways in which, board members specifically can get engaged?
Okay.
Great,
Yeah.
okay, great. Is that it for,
Madam Chair, I just want to say one thing.
uh-huh,
Gina, you are 100% on track, because Brad, I want you to know that when we did that feed Tampa Bay, I was a new board member, and I thought that was fantastic, and that really did suck me into the PSTA. It really did. I mean, I felt like I was a part of a family, and Gina is so right on track with that. I think that's a great point to bring up. Thank you, Gina, for bringing that up.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
all right, thank you.
I can think of a good.
Was that it for that, Brad?
Yeah, no, I think we're back on track. So we talked a little bit about the welcome to PSTA orientation. We'll get rid of that word orientation.
Welcome to PSTA.
Yeah, I mentioned that a year ago. It happened at the February 2020 PSTA meeting, and even, then coronavirus hit, and I kind of totally forgot about it, to be honest. But the PSTA board voted and asked the personnel committee to get together and develop a revised evaluation or performance evaluation process for the CEO that separated the merit discussion from the equity or comparable compensation to the market, to have two different discussions rather than the same, all lumped in the same. And and then like I mentioned earlier, rather than just do that for the one position, to make it consistent, because I've found some of the same dynamics occurring with the rest of the PSTA employees, that we would adopt a new process for the entire, all the non-union employees that get an evaluation. The other thing that we're probably going to recommend is to move the CEO evaluation from the springtime, it happens every February, to October 1, like at the beginning of the fiscal year, namely because we have half new board members, they haven't been around, so so to try to move it to the fall, toward the end of the year. But next week's personnel committee is just a discussion, no action will be taken then, and then then we'll schedule a early February meeting to make a recommendation to the board. With that, Madam Chair, I think we've covered the three informational items I wanted to cover. We talked about the January board agenda as well, so.
Okay, great. So when you say move the CEO evaluation to October 1, you mean to have it ready by October 1?
Oh,
To have
right,
it-
yeah, so September, right,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
And Brad and I had talked again about the way if you have, we have this whole scoring system for all the staff now, and I think that really makes for a good objective evaluation for everyone, including Brad. And I think that if you have evaluations that are based more on actual performance and less on whether somebody's going to get a raise if you say something nice. You know, I know my experience as a supervisor is if I know somebody's raise is going to be dependent on what I say about them, I'm going to be nice. I'm a nice guy. You know, there are other people that will do just the opposite, but, you know, that makes for a very unfair situation for staff, depending on who's doing the evaluating, I think. So we have a very fair system of giving people feedback on their performance. And then we look at, and we also talked about doing a special recognition somehow, we don't know how yet,
Yeah.
for those staff that are really doing incredible things. So I think we can talk more about that later because we don't have an idea what that looks like yet.
Good.
Excellent. Yeah, I think we've covered most of what we're going to cover next week also on the Personnel Committee, because, and many of you are on that committee as well. Most of you are. So stay tuned. Think about it more, and we'll talk about it more next week.
Okay. Hey, so I just have a general question or comment. I think it would be good if, I know we're trying to trade off people being on Zoom and being present. I think as the chair, I should be there sharing from there.
I agree.
Because I think then I can see everybody that's on Zoom and also everybody that's in the room. Otherwise, it's nearly impossible.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in
So-
addition, I think we're gonna maybe probably try to have the committee meetings, which have 5 people. We'll just see if we can have all 5 here. Because that worked pretty well for the legislative committee, I thought.
Well, yeah, but on top of that, you've got the whole room laid out, so we can,
Yeah.
there's plenty of room.
Yeah,
What does it look like if we have all the board members in the room? Does that get too
it's
tight?
possible. It's
I think we
possible.
could do it.
I think it's very possible. It's very similar to what we're experiencing at the Extension Center when we have our commission meetings.
Plenty of room.
Right, but there's many more of us on this
Correct, but
board.
it's set up in the same way in all the chairs that used to be in the middle are gone.
Right, and when MPO meets at the extension or Forward Pinellas, are they also all in the room?
Yes,
Okay, well, that's pretty similar to PSCA then.
it is.
I think we should maybe discuss that at the board meeting, about having everybody present. Because I think in terms of engagement, that would work so much better. It's really hard to get engaged,
Yeah.
especially when you're new to the group, if you're not there with
Correct.
everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if I could add to that,
Yeah,
please, I look around the room right now and I would be very comfortable with this. I would just ask, that we consider a requirement that everyone be wearing a mask throughout the entire time that they're in the room.
yeah,
That is how we are doing in-person St. Petersburg City Council City Council meetings right now. And we're requiring that with no, no leeway on that. So
Right.
that has created a safe environment where everyone feels comfortable, throughout the meeting. And if we are to have a full board in here, I would not be comfortable unless that is a requirement. I'll just be
Right.
blunt with that, especially with the numbers, where they are right now. We
Yeah.
need to be exercising an abundance of caution and setting an example, especially those of us who are elected officials who, are out talking about this and enforcing ordinances right now. So I would make that request, and I would be, if we can do that, I'm fully supportive, because the half and half thing is not, it's not in the best interest of PSTA, I don't think. Other bodies are doing it, making it happen. This room is set up, and I say we go for it. Thank you.
okay, thank you, and I appreciate that suggestion about the masks. I think that's important. Okay, anything else? All right, y'all. See you at the next.
Pat,
Yes.
could I just ask one question? Did we decide that the electric bus, that photo op, did we determine what date it was gonna be?
I
No,
think Brad was
we-
gonna look at it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it again, Richard, just to confirm if we can have it on that Friday or if we need to come up with another date because of the conflict with the Ford Pinellas. So stay tuned, but we'll communicate directly with you about when the date is locked down.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, everybody.
Bye, Pat.
Happy New
See you
Year.
tomorrow.
Bye, and Happy New Year.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care, everybody.
Great meeting.
It was a very good meeting. Brad, does anybody need to let the front person know? I don't know who presses the button to let you through the gate. I had no idea how to get in.
Oh, me neither. I was lucky I had someone in front